Hey Team JVE, it's Miss Norman. I just wanted to hop on and share with you guys one of my hobbies, and I'm actually going to share something that you guys can do over the break while you guys are at home. So my favorite hobby is art, and I actually have a second job where I am a paint instructor at Pino's Palette. So I've learned some tips and tricks over the years, and I want to show you guys some little tricks of things that you can do at home with some with some supplies that you have at home. Okay, so we are going to be making watercolor paintings with markers. Okay, so main thing I need to say about this is you need the washable markers. Okay, Sharpies and permanent markers won't really work with this because they need to be able to pick up the ink with water. Okay, so you need markers. You need some paper. I've got some water in a cup with some paintbrushes. And if you don't have any paintbrushes, Q-tips can work. Your finger can work too. Use whatever you got, okay? So I'm going to show you guys how to do this. So I have already actually drawn a picture for you guys. So I just took some markers that I found around the house, and I drew that same little rainbow again. So we are going to go from this to this, okay? So it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? You can draw literally anything you want, and I'm just gonna add some little squiggles of blue in the background, and then I'm gonna flip it around and show you guys how to do this, okay? So I've got paintbrushes at home. Like I said, if you don't have any paintbrushes, you can use Q-tips or your fingers. Now, one thing I would recommend is in between colors, like when you're painting over the colors, rinse your brush off, okay? That way you don't get weird color blends and everything, okay? So, like I said, I have my picture done. I'm just gonna dip my paintbrush in some water, and then I'm just gonna add the water to it, and you see it's already kind of painting over. Okay, and it's the ink from the marker is spreading, and I personally like to dab my brush off whenever I do this. That way I don't mix my colors, but literally just dip your brush in the water. I always like to dab my brush off, that way I don't get too much water on there. And you just paint directly on top of the markers, and it's going to pick up that ink, and it's going to move it around. And like I told y'all earlier, it's probably going to be a good idea to rinse your brush in between your colors. That way you don't get weird color mixtures. But I'll show y'all the background. So if you literally just paint over those markers, it picks up the ink and it kind of gets rid of it a little bit, and it smooths it out, and it gives it a really cool watercolor look, okay? Now, I would give it time to dry before you do anything else on top of it, but as you can see, the colors are starting to pick up from that water and move around to fill in those spaces. So it's really fun. It's really cool. If you don't have markers, I do have another trick for you guys, okay? So I'm gonna move that paper to the side. I have made a mixture already. I just got a little bowl. I filled it with water, and then I added a few drops of food coloring. So if you don't have markers, like say they're at school still, you can add food coloring to some water, and it'll give you that same look, okay? So I'm gonna get a different brush. I've got my little mixture right here, and I will show y'all what I'm doing. So I've got my little watercolor mixture with the food coloring in the water, and if you look, I'm just adding it to the paper, and it looks like I'm painting. So see, you've got a lot of fun things you can do, and you can really play around with these. I'm going to show y'all like a fun little flower idea you can do too, especially if you want to make a picture for your mom or your grandma or your sister or whoever you are with. But those are just a few ideas. So the flowers. Okay, let me get a purple. All right, so I got a purple marker. I'm going to show you guys how to draw the flower, okay? So I've got my paper. You can just draw a little spiral. Now I'm still going to take that same technique, okay, that same little technique where I put the water on top of it, okay? I'm going to get a green, and I'm going to draw like a little eyeball shape or an almond shape next to it. So I've got my little flower, okay, and I'm just going to draw like a little almond shape and fill it in. I'm going to do 2 of those. So there we go. And now I'm going to get that same little brush. I'm going to rinse it out first though, because I don't want any of my rainbow colors in there. And I'm going to show you what's going to happen. So I'm just taking water, paintbrush, because didn't have any Q-tips on me right now. So there's the flower. If you just take it and you paint on top of it, it's going to pick up those colors and fill it in, and it's going to give you a really pretty textured flower. And one thing you can even do is paint over those little almond shapes, and it'll fill it in and give you a little bit of texture to the leaves. So that's it. Those are some cool little techniques you guys can do. So I hope you have fun with this. I want to see your pictures, okay? Take pictures of what you do. Give it time to dry. You can always draw back on top of something. Like say I took my first little rainbow picture. If I wanted to draw back on top of it and add other things, let it dry, and then you can draw back on top of it, okay? So I miss you guys. I hope you are having a great break. We cannot wait to see you again. Seriously, I want to see pictures. Post them. Send them to me. I love you guys. I miss you.